If you know that triggers your partner, why are you continuing to do it? We need to put the brakes on when we aren't coping. The other person, your partner, can't put the brakes on for you. We feel like we're walking on eggshells. If I could only ask for this, but I know it won't go down very well. Defend myself like I was when I was 6 or 12. So entrenched in your patterning as a child.
What does it mean for you then, a healthy relationship?
Number one is...
The secret to lasting love isn't about finding the perfect partner or mastering some communication techniques. The truth is that there's one, well, maybe a couple of fundamental things that predicts whether your relationship will either thrive or fail, starting with a simple question: can I be me with you? We kick off today's episode getting reacquainted after the August break, diving into some thought-provoking follower feedback before we get into the real meat of today's conversation. Oh, and while you're here, do hit the like and subscribe button so we can keep growing and giving more back. Let's get talking, shall we?
All right. So we like the idea of the one thing that predicts relationship success. Do we know anyone with a successful relationship? Yeah, I guess you do more than anyone else. Am I in the centre? Yeah, it's good. I quite like this cosy red chair stuff.
No, it's lovely, isn't it? And it's good to be back. It seems like a long time.
Yeah.
August seems to have shut down a little bit, the podcast, and it feels like we're back with a vengeance, going into the end of August, into September, and hopefully being here on a regular basis.
Good. We are getting comments now that are thought-provoking, or if not, some are compassionate ones, some are quite critical, all of which are right. We don't want to diminish people's experience that they've got if they don't understand that broader concept that we're trying to get across.
Well,
people
like
that
you
are in
say,
that space.
guides. Guides to a different way of thinking. Yeah. And I heard something the other day: anything that's going on in your relationship, try and look at it as, what's the training for? What's it training you to become or to be, or to, what am I arguing for? What am I looking for? What's the training behind it? And I love, there's something about that. I get it that a lot of people say, what's the learning? But it was sort of, it's training you to be, I guess it's because I run the charity for young people. When they have adversity, I don't want to suffer. Suffering is part of the learning, but it's also, what's it training me to become? And the training is, next time I feel similar, I'll know that I got through it before. Or
at least you've got some coping strategies in place now to better deal with it better.
Yeah.
And it is a theme. I know this is not what we were meant to be talking about, but we might be able to slot this into an end video edit. But it is relative.
And I love the word grit. Okay,
grit and determination.
We talk about resilience all the time, and people going, what is resilience? What is it? For me, it's about that grit, that being able to stand in your own space and go, I am going to achieve something.
But that means also sitting in the discomfort.
Always.
Taking responsibility.
Absolutely.
Leaning into any challenge.
Absolutely, but also being accountable for all of it.
I was going to say that one when I said responsible, but I always put responsible and accountable together, and even I'm fed up with that word, that short phrase in my head. Yeah, and then accountable.
Yeah.
Responsible and accountable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fold that into what we wanted to talk about today, and it was, what is that one thing that predicts relationship success? We have the I before we are the relationship podcast. That doesn't mean couples specifically, although that is the umbrella, but it does also incumbent the individual work that either someone might have to do when they're in couples therapy that you might recommend, but also being in a better place for yourself so you can have better quality relationships. So let's cover a little bit of that today. What, in your mind, are those key indicators of a successful relationship?
Always having an emotional depth. I think when we first meet somebody, there's such a lot to think about, establish the limerence stage, which we've talked about before, the beginning of a relationship, the ideal stage. And then we talk about being together, houses, children, jobs, careers, all of that. We're not actually thinking about an emotional connection, even though we feel that there is one there. It's very practical in some senses. When we get to the stage where the children are growing up, the careers are sort of set-ish, we've gone on to maybe do something different in a career way, families are a little bit more established, parents are in good health, we're not having to look after so many things. We look at our partner and we want an emotional connection, an emotional depth, a conversation that we can have with them. that can be benign, important, tumultuous,
What does that mean?
big.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like a wave.
Yeah.
We want all of that to be with that partner that we've chosen for the last 20 years, that we feel like maybe there's some sacrifice I've given myself over to, I've lent into, all decisions made together. However, when we get to a certain age, there's something about going, I need an emotional connection with this person that wants to be close to me.
So would it not then be a good question to ask, what is an emotional relationship?
Mm-hmm. What would that be for you?
We've said this on a previous episode. It's the letting go.
Mm-hmm.
Recognizing that you're not competing.
Yeah.
Recognizing that you're a team. Emotional safety in the relationship, I would have said, is probably number one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So having an ability to say your truth without fear of repercussions, vilification, is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because then you've kind of got a
first.
springboard to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah. It's the safety first, and then it's the response that you might get from it. If you go towards and you're feeling safe, and then the response is not what you think, not that you're asking the person to say what you want to hear, they're allowed to have their opinion about it, but it's the response that will make you want to say it again if you're not heard.
But that also encompasses that robustness.
Yeah.
So if I say to my partner, I felt pretty bad today, I looked at another woman, she had great legs, and then I felt really bad, but I want to tell you because I want to be honest with you, I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
And they fly off the handle. I can't say that again.
No, it's too risky. There's no safety there.
What about you? What does it mean for you then as a healthy relationship?
Number one is being able to be safe, which means I can be vulnerable.
Same thing, effectively.
Yeah. That you are able to not walk on eggshells. You're able to say what you want to say in the space that you're developing with each other. How safe am I in this relationship? How spontaneous can I be? How funny can I be? You can't be if you're not safe.
So if you think about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and those traits that come into couples work that you see, how do some of those how do some of those negative traits and behaviours start to creep in? So our audience can go, I think I might be doing that, or I think I'm recognising that in my partner, so we can have a little bit of empathy for them, so we can start taking accountability and responsibility.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'd say, first of all, any part of us is not bad.
I know, it's why I corrected myself. As soon as I said it, I thought, what am I doing?
Yeah. It's just a part of us. So whether it's jealousy, whether it's defensiveness, whatever it might be, none of it is bad. What we've got to do is go, what's happening to me? Why am I being this? Not the other person is making me be like this. We've got to go to the I again. But if we look at the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, it's stonewalling, defensiveness, criticism and contempt.
All that in one mouthful. Well, you were saying, love, I had anxiety when you said all of that.
Did you?
Well, the relationships we're going to have are always going to be the most important things in the world to us. So it holds so much weight and gravity to it.
Of course.
So that was where the anxiety, would you say, all that?
Yeah.
Being on the end of, or being in a relationship that might be like that, and I've had relationships like that, they change you.
Yeah. And how much you lean into that relationship in a way that you feel like it's not okay is you giving yourself over to the relationship because of being too vulnerable, not feeling safe enough. Let's pull John Gottman apart a little bit. Sorry, John. We need to separate it out.
Just thinking, whilst we talked about limerence, that's the loved up stage. We talked
Which
about
is
that earlier.
Harville
So
Hendrix.
Harville Hendrix. So these might be things that people haven't heard before. So 3, 6, 9 months. Yeah, that loved. It's called limerence. So,
but I want to separate it so people understand that.
Cool.
So first of all, let's look at defensiveness. So if we're looking at defensiveness and stonewalling, they are from a child place. Okay, so if we're becoming defensive, we don't want to be blamed. So when you were smaller, if you were told off in a situation where you knew you didn't do it, you'd be defending yourself.
You've used the chocolate cake example.
Yeah.
Kid comes in with chocolate
Yeah.
cake round his mouth. Have you eaten the chocolate cake?
No, wasn't me. Okay. What we're looking for here, and stonewalling is emotional flooding. I'm overwhelmed, so got to go away from the situation. These are all child states that you're in as a child. And as you grow up to be an adult, you then come into this place of always do. I know defensiveness so well. I've sat in a place of child being blamed for a lot of things that I know definitely I didn't eat that chocolate cake. There was no evidence, but I would be blamed for it. In that space, as an adult, as I grew up, adolescent and adult, I would always be hypervigilant to somebody going, "Was that you?" And I would go, "What? It wasn't me." And I'd do this long rhetoric of like, the reason why it couldn't be me is because actually I wasn't in that room. I would go on and on and on trying to defend myself like I was when I was 6 or 12. So it's such a trait that we have. It's almost like a stick of rock, with the word Brighton all the way round it. So entrenched in your patterning as a child that you continue to do it as an adult. Same as stonewalling. When you get overwhelmed, you just walk away and the other person's still talking. They're going, "Where are you going?" And because you're so emotionally flooded as a child, you'd then disappear from that situation.
As a child that might be flooded with emotions, and they might be quite negative ones, it might be trauma. Do we have a kind of a trick or a tip that we could give away to people so they could ask themselves that kind of deep question? What was my childhood like? Is there any materials that we could suggest or recommend?
But what I do for myself is I go, am I in the here and now, or am I coming from the past? I go logic, because if you're able to ask yourself a question, you're going into your logical mind and you're coming out of your emotional mind. But also, if you're in a relationship and you are defensive or stonewalling, I want to actually speak to the partner and go, if you know that triggers your partner, why are you continuing to do it? Because once we know a trigger, we need to hold it really softly and know that actually the person that we're loving, we're triggering them on. Don't forget, we didn't live together. The two people that choose each other didn't live together as a child. They don't know the triggers. But when we know the trigger, but your partner continues to subtly bring that trigger in every now and then to take you to a place of trauma, they need to stop it, without a doubt.
Why? I think I know the answer, but I'm holding back. Why would a partner purposefully push those triggers?
Because the unmet needs of that partner that's pushing the triggers are not in a place of having their needs met either for themselves or within the partnership. There's something pushing them forward to hurt the other person. And the hurt is really, if you mirror that, the hurt is coming from the person that's bringing the triggers in the first place.
That reminds me of that saying, hurt people, hurt people.
Yeah.
Your takeaway there was almost a case of stop, engage logical brain, not dismiss the hurt or the pain or the feeling or the trigger, but recognise that it's got its place, but engage logical.
Yeah. Yeah. And ask yourself that question. Is this coming from my family of origin and am I playing that out with this person? Or is it in the here and now and I'm being hurt by the person in front of me?
Right. So I think that's a lovely question. How do people ask themselves about their family of origin? What's some gems that we can give away?
Well, research. Interesting question. You were there.
Should it be counselling?
Therapy for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. But I guess if people are listening to this podcast, what I want to do is really give them something that holds them into a grounded space, starting to recognise that actually they are somatically, body-wise, reacting. And that, sometimes people say you think something first, then you feel it, then your body goes with it. I sometimes think your body goes with it first.
The fight or flight.
Yeah.
The knee-jerk reaction.
Then the thought process comes up and goes, the reason why I was thinking that. But your body will react to something first of all.
So I guess it's then tuning into your body.
Very much
tuning
so.
in, and almost a case of putting the handbrake on before you say or react or jump.
I love that, because when we talk about Babette Rothschild's work, she talks about the autonomic nervous system.
Tell me more.
And within that nervous system, we have a process of fight or flight. And within that, we need to put the brakes on when we aren't coping. The other person, your partner, can't put the brakes on for you, which is then when the boundaries come in. So being able to, what we call the window of tolerance, would be I'm too hyper and I need to come down into this space of the window of tolerance, or I'm too hypo, I've gone too low, which would be apathy, depression, not coping. Hyper would be excitable, out of control. What we're trying to do is become in this window of tolerance to actually regulate ourselves, to be able to then make a decision for ourselves, to put a boundary in, to notice we're being defensive to the other person. The other person's just asking an ordinary question, but because we feel like we're being made to feel guilty, or we're coming from a place of child instead of adult, we will then go into this space of defensive.
This feels very much like one particular talk track, and it makes me think that we are talking about couples that have been together, and after the limerence and after the differentiation, which is when you find your autonomy again, but whilst with somebody. I better write that down for my... Can I just... I've got it recorded, it's all right. I'll explain more later. But that feels more like that's couples that have gone through those stages, and now there's a little bit of tug of war. There's challenges within the relationships that are becoming more apparent. Focusing on individual work that they can people can take that accountability and responsibility, as we were saying, to then go through that. Where do I fit in this? What's my knee-jerk reactions? I'm wondering about how we might do that even before we go into relationship. Does that make sense? Meaning, what can I be doing for me, so I don't unintentionally bring all of this unmet needs, challenges into my next relationship?
Yeah.
I guess I've answered it by speaking it out loud, which is being accountable, going to counselling maybe.
Yeah. And don't forget, we need the challenges within the relationship for it to move forward.
Goes full circle, doesn't it?
It does. And I love the saying, I think Esther says it, she says, what are we arguing for? And for me, it propels you forward to be able to say, I'm arguing for this. This is what I would need for me as an individual whilst being in a relationship with you. Because if we're not meeting the I needs, we definitely won't be meeting the we. Because then we feel resentful. We feel like we're walking on eggshells. We feel like, if I could only ask for this, but I know it won't go down very well because the other person would like to come with me. But actually, I want to be an I first whilst being with you. So the challenges are really important. Challenges, the differences within a relationship is what keeps it from going stale. If we stay the same all the time.
That's about growing together though. And some people, I guess there must be couples out there where one's got great expectations of life and career and their partner, and maybe the other one doesn't.
Well, I don't think we grow automatically together, because I think just from the process of how we all think so differently, or our aspirations, or our apathy, or our ambivalence, or our adventurous, we're all very different. But the one thing that we do have in common is you met this person for a reason. That familial family process that you had as a child, you've met this person because they are very similar or familiar to where you've come from. But it's the differences that keep you together. A healthy family will let you go.
Oh, I love that. It's that old cliche, if you love them, set them free.
Yeah. Whereas when you come to a relationship, you're meeting this person from a place of that space that you inhabited for so many years, but it's not that keeps you together. That's the bit that sometimes causes the ructions, because you are fighting against two cultural backgrounds, two opinions, two different brain wavelengths, two different ideologies, whatever it might be. That's the bit that it's the differences. You know, an introvert and an extrovert can sometimes come together because this person's very quiet and this person's very, and they go, my God, this person's amazing. They're full on. They don't care what they say. And the other person's going, God, I wish I was a little bit quieter.
I'm both of those, scarily enough.
I think everyone is both of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't particularly want to identify with being introvert or extrovert, but I can flip from one to the other.
But I know I'm an extrovert, but I need to go into being an introvert to get the energy back to be an extrovert.
Recharge.
Always, yeah.
So we are talking about the one thing that might predict relationship success. We kind of said it at the beginning of the recording, didn't we? And that was kind of that vulnerability. Can I be me with you?
Yeah. The other thing I want to add to that is time.
How do you mean?
John Gottman talks about, and I'm say this to my clients all the time, I want you to have 6 hours a month together without fail. I want you to calculate how many hours you are together. And this is concrete time, sacred time.
But you have to put a level of importance on this
priority.
Jointly.
Yeah, priority, yeah. Yeah. So somebody said to me the other day, we went out for the day together, so that was our 6 hours. Actually, it was 8 hours. I said, but how much time did you spend together? Was it kid orientated? Was it phone orientated? Was it sorting out the food? Or did you actually sit together for at least 15 to 20 minutes just going, you all right? How you doing? Do you like today? Has it gone how you thought it did?
In that vulnerability that we talked about earlier, I'm just realising how important friendship is, but true friendship. I think that can get lost in relationships.
When you find that you don't know what you're arguing for anymore, then you start to realise that you don't really like the person, and that's where the friendship sits. Friendship doesn't sit in that complete love place like a relationship does. We have friendships because we really, really like the person. And I see like as a really intimate, special word. I think we say I love you quite randomly and all over. We say it when somebody's walking out the door. So if they have an accident, I say, the last thing I said to them is I love you. I feel like I like you so much. I think there's a real intimacy with that.
There's two categories for that. For me, the love, you can love fish and chips. You can love a friend dearly. You can love your partner dearly, but you can also be really cheesed off with them. You can also dislike people that you love. Then you're kind of caught up in the feeling as opposed to the value. Yeah. And funny enough, when James was here, and it didn't go into the last edit, but we did a podcast about masculinity, and we had a chat afterwards, and I was saying about the importance of how much I value telling people how much I like them, because we don't hear enough of it. No. So I told him how much I liked him, and I have a love for him. Yeah. And it's more palatable to hear that someone really likes you. It holds a different value. There's no expectations on it. Love almost feels like, in some respects, you could be out of control. I fell in love. I'm hopelessly in love. So you've lost all control of mind, body, spirit. Yeah, I've fallen out of love. Yeah. Yeah. I get my couples to start saying to each other, I really like you. There's such an intimacy with that for me. More than anything by the feels of it. Yeah. Yeah. And they really like it because it's where they've come to therapy and they're in crisis and they start to get to know each other again. Saying I love you off the back of all of the things that have gone on. So the harsh words and the arguments and the falling out and sometimes the separation and getting back together again. Starting with I like you just feels special. So what was your question? I interrupted you with the I like. So we were talking about the two different types of relationship. There's a new relationship where you've got to take accountability, start learning about your history, family of origin. These are all, and learning to be accountable and responsible for your part to play. But then you were sharing how actually the relationships teach you those things. Yeah, but I wanted to also add, I feel like we're going all over the place at the moment, but I want to add, when people come to therapy, they don't think that their past has got anything to do with what's happened in their relationship. When I do what I call profiling, I sit there and I find out all about their past. And I go, do you not notice that you're representing this part of your family from the past? And did you not notice that? And they go, no, can't see that. Can't see that I'm being dad or mum or anything in that relationship. So it's quite interesting that people aren't recognising the past is playing very much out in the future relationship they're already in. I guess that's why I asked the question, what can be the takeaway that listeners can have today? What is that one thing that predicts relationship success? Well, I think out of the conversation we're having, we're starting to peel that back. It is about learning about your triggers. As you say, they're coming into therapy saying, well, how's my past got anything to do with today? Actually, it's probably the majority of it.
Yeah, and we always point out, mum and dad, I've got a massive appreciation for siblings. Huge appreciation. They are your template for your grounding of arguing and scrabbling and fighting and competitive and jealousy. This is all career-wise, going out in the world and meeting new people, comparisons. For me, we don't really talk about siblings as much as we do, let's say, that your mum and dad's template or your template. I think your siblings' template is very much coming into play, more so now, or in my world, more so now, thinking, okay, so let's have a look. You know, you've got a heterosexual couple, the guy's sitting there and he's talking about his brother, who's very jealous of mum and dad's favourite, competitive, sporty and everything. And then when their partner is actually doing really well in their career, they're getting lots of promotions, that jealousy from that brother who they had to tolerate all those years and not be seen is now being replayed with the wife.
Well, it's leaked in, isn't it?
It's leaked in, absolutely. Yeah. And they can't see that, and they go, well, that's my brother, this is my wife, I love my wife. My brother was an arsehole.
My compassion for a potential couple or an individual sitting in a therapy room must be awful, must be hard.
It is, yeah. Especially when there isn't any awareness of it. Where there is some, I wondered whether my feelings of being left out and maybe abandoned or rejected by the parents, where the other sibling was so priority. And then it's a revelation. You suddenly say to them, well, actually, do you think you're playing out that scenario in this relationship now? It is a revelation. They're like, how can this be true? Why am I still sitting in that place? And it's because it's not healed.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're always going to get what you get.
Absolutely, yeah. There's not enough healing being done. And that's why you and I are always talking about the I and the we. The I work is so, so important to be able to go, right, okay, the triggers that I know of, because don't forget, we never know whether another one's coming. The triggers that I know of, I have actually pressed enough myself. So when they're pressed by my partner now, I don't react because I've pressed them enough. And that's our job as human being, is to press our triggers enough so that nobody else can. We're aware that they are trying to, or they accidentally do, or it is happening. But we go, I'm going to ask you to stop there, because we put much stronger boundaries in than we've ever done before.
Let's sit with boundaries for a moment.
Okay.
I know we've talked about it before. I use the analogy of mum in a lift with a little one.
Yeah.
Don't press all the buttons, 20 floors, can you imagine? Don't press the buttons, don't press the buttons, little one presses the buttons. Okay, I'm going to take your privileges away, I'm going to take TV away for a night. Mistakenly, that's not a boundary.
No. The boundary's already been crossed.
Yeah, boundary's already been crossed. The boundary is standing in front of the buttons. I've heard it in therapy recently where a client might be talking about their partner. They yet again crossed my boundaries, yet again crossed my boundaries. I think I hear a lot of that, more so now. I don't know what your experience is.
I don't think they even call them boundaries, do they? They don't actually say that they've crossed my boundary. They say something like, they did something that really hurt me and upset me. I go, okay, so they crossed a boundary, something that's really close to your heart, or a value or a belief that you have. True.
And I'm thinking about boundaries being a buzzword at the moment, especially on Tinterweb.
Oh, right, okay.
So I was thinking the definition of a boundary hasn't been quite solidified for a lot of people, certainly in a therapeutic setting, because once a boundary is in play, big things change.
Yeah.
People stop hurting you. People stop accusing you of things.
Well, it's interesting you to say that, because I actually don't think it works like that straight away.
Okay, tell me more.
I think when you feel like a boundary's been crossed, you, as a human being, let it happen. But then you tighten yourself up and you go, right, okay, I don't like that at all. So when it's crossed again, you then come into your own. You go, actually, I don't really want you to say that, or I don't want you to do that again. And because you haven't put boundaries in before, the other person will dismiss it. I go, oh, don't be ridiculous. You always let me do that. So holding a boundary when you haven't held a boundary, maybe you've been a bit of a people pleaser, holding it, going back in and going, being brave is really, really hard. I am actually talking about myself at the moment. I'm doing a real lot of boundary work because I can feel like my boundaries get crossed and I don't automatically go towards it. I'm more of an observer of what I think a person is doing to me. And I know it's going to happen again because I haven't put a boundary in place. And then when it happens again, which it will, you can then go, I don't like that. Please don't do that again. But it is dismissed quickly because you are demonstrating a strength that they haven't seen in you before.
And I heard how difficult boundaries can be to use if you're a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Can you imagine someone that struggles with the word no? Mm-hmm. I guess where my mind was going when you were talking about siblings and the pleasing, and then taking that into your life and how you act, and some of those boundaries can be really difficult to...
And what's the consequence of a boundary? I suppose now I'm sitting here with you right now and I still find it difficult to implement a boundary. I do now, but it takes me a little while. But I think that comes from a place where I would always be invited to parties. I'd be the life and soul. I'd get the party going. I would organise the drinks. I would be that person.
I know what kind of person it is.
And then one day somebody said, get up, the party's really boring, do something. And I said, no.
Yeah.
And that person, actually 5 people within that setting, never spoke to me again. So there was a consequence to me holding a boundary, which I was really glad I did. But at the time when
Shows you who your friends are.
They obviously weren't. Well, I was used for a purpose, which I willingly did.
Okay, I've had a bit of a... I'm not going to articulate this very well. I'll do the best I can. On TikTok, I posted our I Before We 45-second sketch, the introduction, and a very kind person said, "You're right, but you're wrong," and explained that but it wasn't working because the partner was still abusive or toxic. And that makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
But my response was, well, you still haven't worked on the I because of the boundary that you've allowed this person to treat you in a particular way. And if your boundaries are in place, then you wouldn't be having this couple issue. And I guess that's very similar to what you were saying. What is the agenda of this relationship? And it's having that accountability, responsibility in place enough to say to yourself, is this a healthy relationship? Am I allowing these things to happen? Is it happening because I have no boundaries? Am I on the right track?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And it will be something that's very familiar to you. So the same boundary will come up again. It might be somebody laughing about something that actually isn't that funny to you, but they think it's quite funny, and you're
at your expense.
Well, they're not seeing it at my expense. They're just seeing it was a funny situation. But actually, I can feel when they're laughing that I'm sitting in a place, maybe a bit of shame or a bit of, not that I've done anything wrong, but it's a situation that I found myself in that they've now thought was funny. And actually, it meant something to me. But for them and for me, it's about, the let them theory as well. Let them do whatever they want to do over here.
Who was that? Mel
Robbins.
Mel Robbins.
But also let me sit in a place of going, I've sat here and gone, that didn't feel that comfortable, but I've sat here and gone, let them. But when that comes back round again, which it will, I will then be ready to hold that boundary much tighter than I did before. And I'm in training, as I said to you the other, it's about what's this training me, and it. I feel like people pleasing, holding boundaries, not having resentments, not sitting in comparison with other people is a lifelong journey. It's not something that you just suddenly know and then you stop doing. It's a journey that you go, I now know that I'm a people pleaser, and I now know that sometimes I do comparisons, or sometimes I hold resentment, whatever it might be for you. that will then take time to change. Like in all relationships, when we're talking about the I, people go, well, I'm trying to be an I. You know, I'm saying, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. And the other person goes, well, you will do that because we've always done that. And you end up doing it and you resent it. So holding that space for yourself as an I, we talk about it as though the I and the we, as though it's a nothing. It's huge. Coming out from, and we're not splitting up from our partner because we want to be with them, but what we're going is, I'm an I. My experiences, my adventures, my excitement, my kink, my aspirations, they were all there before you met this person, and all the other people you've met in your life, they were there. But we give ourselves over to a relationship and then we let go of ourselves.
And that is the key here, isn't it? You let go of yourself. You lose yourself in the relationship.
Yeah. So it's not done to you, it's done by you.
Again, holding the accountability to.
Yeah, always the I, yeah. Why did I allow this? Why did I accept this? Why did I lean in? And don't forget, you know, in relationships, we have hope. We have hope that actually things will work out. We have hope that actually the person might change slightly. If we're not sitting in a place of what we like, they won't.
I'll give you one example of how some of the guys that I work with, and girls, but it's predominantly men at the moment, being a pleaser in the relationship with their partner, they might not be masculine enough because they're too pleasing. They're trying to rescue the partner. When they're in a situation where they start doing their own thing, going to the gym, learning to say no, finding a healthy dialogue, or at least trying to promote a healthy dialogue and boundaries, the partner seems to get drawn back to a healthy dynamic in the relationship because he's more autonomous, he's more confident. That's the relevance of the I. Yeah.
But being an I, being assertive is sexy.
Yeah.
It just, for male and female.
That was a short way of saying what I just said. You're much better at this than I am.
It just is, isn't it? When a guy with his partner says, I don't fancy that, don't want to do that, there'd be a confusion. There'd be like, what, why are you not doing like I want? You always do that for me. I don't want to today. Let's think of something else to do. Maybe something that we choose together.
And I think that's also the spontaneity. When someone's finding their own rhythm, their own differentiation, and they have that autonomy, like you say, it is more tantalising.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do that today. You come in?
Yeah.
I'll get my bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We've covered quite a bit, but in the vein of that one thing that can predict relationship success, I think we've uncovered it's more than one thing. It's a collective few. Yeah. And there's too many permutations to really say it's one particular thing, but we can keep covering that episode on episode. I was just making some notes of sort of the things that I think seem to gel well. I didn't mean to rhyme, but seem key. So self-awareness, accountability, responsibility, doing the difficult things, putting the handbrake on our emotions and letting the logical fit in, and being resilient. Now, resilience seems like there's a lot of work that needs to be done on experience to become resilient. And then my favourite one, actually two, is what is this situation training me? And then can I be me with you? Yeah. That vulnerability. Let's not walk on eggshells. Let's take accountability for the thing that you've got to say, whatever my triggers are, my triggers. Yeah. What would you add to that?
Keep working on your boundaries. Keep noticing if you're a people pleaser. What are you giving over of yourself that you really wish you could resource? Sitting in the I is paramount to having a more successful we.
Love it. I think we should do an episode on boundaries.
And when people listen to this podcast, and we've had comments in the past, comment on I'd love to hear what they think would strengthen their relationship.
Aspects we might have missed out.
Yeah. Expanding
on things that resonated. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to our podcasts and YouTube channel, if I keep forgetting to say that, please write something in the comments, something you think is valuable, ask some questions, whether it's Fee, myself or Lottie, and we'll do what we can to reply. But thank you, Lottie.
Thank you, Elliot. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while.
I know.
So it's good to be back in the POC.